Yo, what is good, Ecamm fam? We throwing money today. Ecamm fam, we are throwing money today. We gonna make it rain 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 today. Oh my gosh. Today's stream is about to be so wild. So absolutely wild. I told y'all when I started this show, we were not gatekeeping. We are not gatekeeping. Today, you ready to spend some money? All right, full transparency, y'all. Y'all know I keep it a buck. This is movie prop money. You think I just be throwing my money like this? No. If I was throwing some real money, we be throwing some cameras around, and I cannot afford to be throwing my cameras around. They need to work. They need to get the job done. No, today we're gonna be talking about gear, y'all. I am super hype about this episode because, confession, a little bit of a gearhead, you know? Like, I get it. Gear doesn't matter, but it matters, if you know what I mean. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. All right, I gotta grab my headphone string because I was getting a little too lit. But it's all right. It's all right. We still in that thing. I'm super excited to be hanging out with you guys. This is going to be an amazing stream because we ain't holding nothing back today. We gonna be walking through cameras, lights, audio interfaces, accessories. We're gonna be talking about all of it. Some software. We talking about everything today because over the last, let's say, year and a half, I have gone so deep into the gear rabbit hole of what it takes to pull off an excellent live stream show, live stream podcast, and finding all those little bitty bits of detail that really help elevate the show, but to a point to where your audience ultimately gets a better experience. And that's what we're talking about today. It's not about what I'm just buying for the sake of what I want. Everything that I pick and choose to be a part of the live stream process is so that my audience gets the experience that they deserve, right? All right, so I'm super excited about today's stream. I have up front, I put all the links in the description. So everything we're going to talk about, you can go in the links in the description and check that out. Also, right after this stream, our good Mr. Moderator Paul himself is going to be sending out an email blast that will be sharing all of the gear and a few additional ones as we talk about them. They'll be thrown into an email blast that'll go in. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss out on the gear list, go in the description, sign up for the email list on this account. So that way, not only are you notified about future streams that I do here on Ecamm and continuing with this show, but also you get links to all the gear we're going to talk about. Now, today's show, even though we have a lot of gear to talk about, it is still an interactive show. So I need you guys to sound off in the chat if you have questions about any of the gear I'm talking about. Also, okay, we only got 4 likes, 4 thumbs up in the chat right now. Let me get some thumbs up. I threw money for y'all. Yeah, we made it rain. Let's make it rain some thumbs up. So I appreciate that. I'm super excited about today's episode because, like I said, I'm a gear nerd. But I gotta say up front, when we talk about gear, there is one thing that we have to set a precedent for before we even go forward. It can be very easy to get into the mental mindset of, I can't do the show I want to do until I buy this piece of gear, that camera, this lens, this audio device, whatever. And I want to squash that right now. The truth is that if you are currently watching this stream, you have whatever you need to live stream. That's just the truth. I don't care if you're currently watching this on your phone or if you're currently watching this on your laptop. You actually already have everything you need right now to live stream. In fact, a few weeks ago, me and Jarrell, my co-host on my other channel, we went live when we were at NAB, and we wanted to go live on the floor. I kid y'all not. We went live with just my phone, front-facing camera, not even the best quality, front-facing camera with a selfie stick. Walked around the floor, and we had over 200 people watching us live, walking around NAB. So that just goes to show. And we were live for like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, maintained an average view rate of over 100 and some odd viewers. And that just goes to show that you don't have to have the most expensive gear. But let's be realists. Having better gear does make us feel better, and it allows us to feel like we're putting on a better show. So I'm just saying that to start off by saying, don't feel like you need to have the most expensive gear out there to get started. But today we're going to be jumping into, some pretty nice gear. Throughout all the different categories we're going to be jumping into today, we're going to be talking about some budget-friendly options. We'll also be talking about some of the more high-end options, and I'll be explaining to you guys why I chose some of the options that I did. So I'm super excited. Hopefully you guys are excited. Sound off in the chat if there's any. Actually, let's do that. What is the one piece of gear that you currently love most that you already have? I want to know. Let me know in the chat right now. What is the one piece of gear that you currently have that you love most? And then if you answer that one, here's the second question. Or if you can't answer the first one, here's the second question for you. What is the one piece of gear that you are currently looking forward to the most picking up for your live stream setup or your podcast setup? I want to see. I want to know right now. Throw them in the chat because I want to pull them up and see what you guys are currently excited about. I'll tell you the piece of gear that I am the most excited about that I currently own, y'all. You're going to laugh because you're going to probably think that it's a camera or a light or a microphone. But I'll tell y'all, we're going to get into it a little bit. But for me, it'd be the Stream Decks, y'all. The Stream Decks are life. And we're going to talk about how I use them, why I use them, which ones I currently own. Because granted, I own quite a few of them. I'm not even going to cap with y'all. I own quite a few of these things, more than I'd like to admit, but it's because of how versatile they are for me, because of the type of show that we do. So I'm super excited about that. Let's see, what pieces of gear are y'all currently in love with? I'm seeing right now the RODECaster Duo. I love the RODECaster Duo. I love RODECaster so much. I got a RODECaster Pro 2 that sits on this desk, and then I got a RODECaster Duo that sits right here for the other show, because only with a RODECaster can you do stuff like this. I mean, that's not true. You can definitely do that directly inside of Ecamm, but it's not as much fun as just pressing a button. I love the RODECaster Duo. Shout out to you, Mike. Paul, our Mr. Moderator, says, my DJI Pocket 3. Yo, the Pocket 3 is low-key a streaming powerhouse, especially because you can control it and you can set different frames. Ooh, that Pocket 3, I feel you on that, Paul. And Paul has a pretty dope setup. I've seen his. I love the case that he has. It's pretty legit. Marianne, you're tuning in from Australia? Is that right? I might be wrong. But she says, my main camera, the Sony ZV-E10 with the Sigma 16mm lens. Yes. Having a camera that you enjoy along with a lens that gives you the look that you're going for. Like, we're going to talk about cameras here in a second, but like this camera right here with this lens, I love this setup for live streaming. But we have other cameras we're going to talk about as well, so loving that. Mr. Paul says, love my Stream Decks. Another Stream Deck equipment in here. The Stream Deck is my dream equipment. All right, so we're going to talk about the different Stream Decks here in a little bit. So make sure you stay tuned in because we got a few different Stream Decks that are absolutely going to blow your mind. Jeremy says, insanely overpriced OC white low profile mic arm. Now, I got a question, Jeremy. Did you buy this or is this your goal? Because if it's your goal, I might have found a better solution that's even That's way less expensive. It's in the links right now, but as you can see, Jeremy, I actually have a OC White low profile arm right here. I actually have another one right over here for my guest, but man, oh man, you'll notice the arm that I'm using right now. This might be the go. This might be the go-to. I didn't say it. I didn't say it, but I'm gonna say it. This is the one. That's nice. That's nice. Don't get me wrong. But no one's watching our stream because of our arms. If you're looking for that low profile functionality, I'm telling you, man, Neewer for $75. Check the links in the description. My Elgato prompter, and second would be my Stream Deck. Yo, Elgato be dropping some gems, y'all. Elgato be going crazy. I got a prompter right here, y'all. Like, it's crazy. I love these things. Oh man, this is gonna be a great show. I can already tell because we got a bunch of gear nerds over here, so I'm excited about it. Park Bros says Stream Decks make life so much easier. I use it for work as well. One button to get to websites, spreadsheets, etc. Yo, I'm gonna show you today a few ways that you could use the Stream Deck to really enhance your show, because the Stream Deck really is what allows you to do the job of like 5 people, but with just yourself. So you can be live and doing things simultaneously, and people will never even know, especially if you have certain Stream Decks. I absolutely love it. Oh, I got it right. Australia in the building. What's up? Cindy says, I want to learn about all things Stream Deck. I am not sure if I even need one, but I am told it will help with various work streams and productivity. Cindy, if you hang around me, chances are, in a matter of minutes, you are going to be buying a Stream Deck. So make sure you get your wallet ready, because you probably gonna buy a Stream Deck. And the nice thing though is that you can learn from some of the mistakes that I'm gonna be sharing that I made, because I definitely bought certain Stream Decks thinking it was gonna be right, and then it wasn't, and then I had to figure it out. So yeah, we're definitely gonna get into the Stream Deck. So we are super excited about this. Elgato Wave Mic and the Stream Deck. Love that, Caroline. Mel says, trying to learn how to use the RODECaster Pro 2 better, but love it. It is a constant learn. Mel, I'm right there with you. Pocket 3 is the bomb. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Jeremy says, tell me Mo. Oh, we going to be talking about it. we going to be getting into it. So I'm super excited about this. Unless it's Dwayne Johnson's stream, the arms do matter. Well, I'm telling you, George, this arm is legit. This arm is legit. Like, I have never seen something come out for such a low price and be so good. So good. All right. So, yeah, we're going to hop into this. I'm super excited about today's episode. We're going to be breaking this down and going over section by section. So, of course, when you get ready to start live streaming, you gotta have a camera, right? So we gotta start off with the camera. Now, when it comes to picking your camera for live streaming, there's a few things that you wanna definitely keep in mind. Now, for me, the first thing that I think about is just what is the easiest for me to work with. The truth is that if you buy a camera that's come out probably in the last like year or two, the quality is gonna be amazing. Like, the quality is absolutely going to be amazing regardless, but there are little things that you can get that are absolutely going to help you in the process. Now, when it comes to live streaming, the first thing you got to ask yourself when it comes to the camera is, how do you plan to get the camera into your computer? Now, I'm going to just jump out on a limb here and assume that because you guys are watching this show on this YouTube channel, you guys are using Ecamm, which means you're running a Mac and you're running Ecamm and you're trying to get your camera into the system. Now, there's a few ways that you can do this. Now, one easy way you can do this is with something called a Cam Link. Now, a Cam Link is just a USB device, has HDMI on it, allows you to plug the USB directly into your computer and then run HDMI from your camera directly into your computer. So that way your computer can actually understand it all as a video source, as a webcam. There's another way that you can do it, and the way that I do it is with a device like this. This is from Blackmagic. It's called an Ultra Studio, and what I love about this is it does have USB-C, and it allows me to run a cable, so a USB-C cable directly from this box into my computer. But then on the opposite side, it has both HDMI and SDI. Now, HDMI is what you're gonna find on most of your cameras. Like, you'll find an HDMI port on most mirrorless cameras, DSLR cameras. But SDI is a little bit more of a professional attachment. It has a locking attachment. So what I like about this device is that it doesn't matter what camera I'm planning on using, this device will work for both, no matter what. And here's how it works for me. I personally do multiple cameras on my stream. In fact, over my shoulder here, you can kind of see the camera alignment. I have one camera here, I have another camera that sits center, and there's a third camera off to the side here, which I've actually pulled down so I can show you guys. But this allows me to run these cameras directly into my computer. Now, in this case, for each camera, I do have to have a attachment or a box in order to send it in, and then I have to have a USB-C port on my computer in order to get it in. Now, if you're running multiple cameras, this is, in my opinion, one of the best ways, and the reason why is because when it comes to working with the Stream Deck and Elgato, this becomes super, super clutch to be able to bring in those individual cameras directly into Ecamm, because then we can switch those cameras from within inside of Ecamm. However, there is another alternative. The other alternative is to use a switcher like this. Now, this is the ATEM Mini Pro. I used to run this way. However, because I like to use the Stream Decks for a few reasons I'm going to explain in a little bit, this allows me to actually run those individual cameras into this via HDMI, so up to 4, and you can get a bigger version of this that'll actually allow you to run up to 8. But then you can actually switch your cameras on this and send one feed into Ecamm. The only downside I find about that is if you want to run the Stream Decks, this sort of gets in the way. There are workarounds to be able to actually control this with a Stream Deck, but I do find that for the best experience inside of Ecamm, I just prefer to take my cameras directly into Ecamm as individual sources, then routing them through an ATEM, and then letting the ATEM just be one source, because then that means everything lives and breathes by this one device, and it's not the best working experience, at least for me. However, if you do like running it into an ATEM, you can absolutely do that, and you can program it with the Stream Deck. So when you start thinking about cameras, before we pick out our cameras, you got to think about how you plan on getting that camera into your computer. Now, there are a few cameras that can go directly into your computer. For example, I've got this guy here. I'm going to kind of break it off here just to show you guys real quick, but this is just a Logitech webcam. It plugs directly into my computer via USB-C, and it's a great safety cam for me. I normally have it set right over my monitor, and I'll actually kind of cut to that camera so you guys can see it. But this is that Logitech view, and I like that it gets the job done. It does what I need it to do in order to, allow myself to stream. However, it's definitely a better experience by going directly from more of a mirrorless style camera or a DSLR style camera directly into my computer. All right, so now let's go ahead and hop into the actual cameras that I'm using. So when it comes to cameras, there is no perfect answer. I feel like cameras is the one thing that people probably want to know, okay, what is the perfect camera to live stream with? But the truth is there is no perfect camera. You absolutely have to figure out what is the best camera for you when it comes to live streaming. For me, because I not only do live streaming, but I also do video production, I find myself really leaning into the Canon ecosystem. And so for me, the camera that you guys are actually seeing me stream on right now, and that I actually used before my current cameras, is this guy. This is the Canon R7. Now, this is just a mirrorless camera. It's a crop sensor camera, which just means that it has a slightly smaller view portion. However, if you put a wide angle lens on this, like for example, right now I'm actually shooting on a it's a 14 to 35, but it's really just a wide angle lens. It allows me to get this look that you guys are seeing. And what I like about this is that you can still kind of make out what's happening in the background, but it's still wide enough to where I feel like we're close enough. I could reach out and touch the camera if I need to, or I can, like, you know, be able to adjust settings if I need to without it being like fully across the room. And this is a look. This is a look that a lot of live streamers go for and looks really good. And so, yes, you can absolutely pick up the R7 if you like. However, if you go with any decent camera, like I said, that's come out, a mirrorless camera, if you go with a camera that is a crop sensor, I'm just going to recommend to go with a slightly wider lens. However, the R7 is a fantastic option if you do want to get into that full-size camera. Now, this is a crop sensor camera, and this camera is, the word affordable is really crazy. So I'm not even going to try to say anything in this video is affordable. I'm just going to share what I like, and you guys can definitely check out the links down below and look at prices for yourself and figure out what works within your budget. However, when it comes to other cameras, the other camera that I use for our stream currently is this guy. Now, this is going to feel like a lot, but there's a reason for the madness, because I am crazy, and I know I'm crazy, and I acknowledge it, I accept it, and I'm moving forward. So this is a Blackmagic cinema camera, and the reason why I go with this for our show currently is because, one, it has a full-size HDMI, which just made things a little bit easier for streaming out. Also, this camera allows me to output an exact 30 frames per second, which is super helpful for streaming. And then the other thing is that, like, you'll notice that this lens here, I actually am one of those weird people that I prefer not having autofocus. I know a lot of people love autofocus, but when we do our shows, and this is going to be a pattern that you're going to see throughout the entirety of what I'm going to be talking about when it comes to gear, is we are doing everything. Like, our show might feel like there is a producer or that there is somebody working to, like, switch cameras and do all these things. That is not the case. So whenever we set things, I like to make sure that it's set, it's going to work, and that way I don't have to have another person come in and help. And so what I found is, when we've done cameras and lenses that do autofocus, the problem we run into is that if the autofocus gets off at any point during the show, well, we really have no way to fix it, because we're literally in the middle of being on the show. And so instead of letting autofocus do its job, we decided to go with lenses and cameras that don't have autofocus. The other thing I like about the Blackmagic is, personally, this is just more subjective to me, but I love the look that comes out of this for our show. So that's the reason why I went with this. At the end of the day, whether you go with a Pocket, or you go with a Osmo, or you go with your phone, because, like I've told you, we have done full streams just using our phones. At the end of the day, it's about picking the tool that's going to allow you to be able to produce the show that you want to produce. And like I mentioned, if you pick up a camera or even a phone that has come out in the last 2 years, there's almost no way you're not going to get something that is super high quality and that looks really, really good. However, there is something else that does drastically affect the overall quality that you get out of your camera, and that is lighting. Now, we're going to jump into lighting here in just a second, but before we do that, I'm going to hop into the chat and answer some questions, because I know you guys had a few questions that popped up. Paul put in there, make sure you put the Q, colon, and then add your question, so that way we can get to it. So I got a question here. Upstate Pickleball and Paddles says, what options do I have when I need more ports? Okay, so when it comes to ports, you can always get a Thunderbolt, and I'm trying to remember the right way you say this, but it's a hub. And so what you can look at, I've gone on YouTube, and I'll actually add, I've made a video about this one before on my main channel, but there is, my favorite one is one called the Evanki dock. Now, if you, let me actually see if I can pull it up for you guys really quick. But what I love about the Evanki dock is it allows you, it takes up 2 Thunderbolt ports on your actual MacBook or your Mac Mini, but it opens you up. It gives you those ports back, and then it gives you like 4 additional Thunderbolt ports. It gives you 2 HDMI ports. It also gives you a few USB-A ports, and it is so good. Now, it is a little pricey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Compared to most docks, this is way pricier, but it actually allows you to send the data that you need. And that's exactly what I use with my computer. I have an Ivanki dock. I can't pull on it right now because obviously my whole system was shut down. But the Ivanki dock is absolutely the way to go if you're trying to add additional ports. The biggest thing that you want to make sure you get is a Thunderbolt dock, not just like a USB dock. Because the truth is that if you go with a cheaper USB dock or like the little dongles that you can buy on Amazon, if you start trying to pull too much data through them, think of it almost like a full allowance. Like it has 10 gigabits of data that it can send, but if you're using like 4 of those ports, it's only giving you, 2.5 out of each, right? Versus if you have an actual Thunderbolt dock, then each of the ports get 10 gigabits. So that's the major difference. So don't cheap out when it comes to picking up a Thunderbolt dock. That's definitely going to be where you want to spend a good amount of money because it's going to allow you to have all of the options to connect as much as you want to your computer. So that is a fantastic question. Jeremy says, your Stream Deck pedals are your producer's brand. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Stream Deck does a lot, actually. I feel like I could do an entire stream just on the Stream Decks and how I use them because they literally save my life when I'm doing it. Yep, Ivanki me please. Yeah, so the Ivanki dock is absolutely the way to go. Let's see, on busy streams, we search for questions starting with Q. So the moderator, Mr. Paul is just letting us know, if you want your question answered, make sure you put a Q because that just makes it much easier for me to find them when I'm searching through all of the different chats that are coming through. All right, so we've talked a little bit about cameras. Now let's get into what, in my opinion, might actually be even more important than cameras, and that is lighting. Now, there is a plethora of information when it comes to lighting. How much lights do you need? How much lights should you spend? How much should you spend on lights before you even start buying lights? Or maybe you've already started buying lights, something to consider before you buy any more lights. There are certain lighting manufacturers that are building ecosystems within their lighting world. So what I mean by that is like one brand that I absolutely love, they were nice enough to, help bring us out to NAB and make that whole thing possible, and that is Amaran. Now, here's the thing about Amaran lighting. They have an entire app and ecosystem of lights that work together and work in tandem. And these things can be incredibly helpful when you are streaming. But Amaran is not the only company that's doing that, and they are not sponsoring this video. So we're going to talk about some other options you have as well. You also have Zhuan, who are making lights within an ecosystem that have their own app. Or you also have Godox that are making lights that are within their own ecosystem. Or you have Nanlite, which is another brand that makes their own lights. Now, personally, I use Amaran lights, and the main reason why I use Amaran lights is because Amaran has not only created an app for your phone, but they've also created an app for your desktop. Now, here's the thing about using Amaran lights. I mentioned this already, that they have an app on your phone. So this literally means that whether I'm on my phone or I'm on my computer, I can, in one button, turn all the lights on and turn all the lights off. And so you have that option directly in here. So I'm going to pull up my app, get my lights to connect, and now all I have to do is hit one button, all the lights are gone. Press another button, all the lights come right back. And the reason why I love this is because you can have so much fun with this, because it's not just a matter of having lights that turn on and off, but they have certain lights that have different effects. So for example, one light that they have is this guy here. This is the Amaran Ace 25C. Now again, because it's part of the ecosystem, I can control this light with my phone. And so I can actually have different things. So like this light, for example, it allows you to have colors, right? So imagine, and I've talked to you guys about this before, but like because it doesn't just have, doesn't just have colors, it also has effects. I can go in here and I can turn on, like, let's do the cop one. So we're going to do the cop effect. And so you can see this thing is now flashing lights at me. Now, this effect can be custom triggered at any point. And so what it means is that you can actually set the app to be able to not only have this light do an effect, but any of their lights do an effect. And so with one button press within the Amaran app, you can literally have all your lights start changing, dancing, or I say dancing, but like have them doing like effects, have them doing colors, all those fun things can actually happen within the Amaran app. And now Amaran is not exclusive to this. Other manufacturers' lights can do this as well, but this is one of the benefits of having all of your lights be within the same actual ecosystem, because now you have one app that controls all of the lights. So instead of you having to like make one light do something, make another light do something, turn this one on, this one has an app, but this one doesn't have an app. If all of your lights are in the same ecosystem, you can control them all equally, and that is the secret. Now, when it comes to lighting, there's a few different types of lights you can get, and there's two types of lights that you want to kind of think about for your scene. So you have your actual lighting, and then you have what are called practical lights. So lighting is going to be the lights that you don't see, that your audience doesn't see. For example, there's a light right over here that's doing most of the work of illuminating me right now. So for example, I'll actually go ahead and turn that light off. You can see the effect that that light has. I also have another light that's sort of above me-ish, kind of giving me this top-down lighting. And so if I hop into my app, again, I'm just showing you guys in very real time that I can easily just turn these different lights off. So there it is. Boom, turn that light off. And you can see the effects that these are making. So I'm going to turn these lights back on so I look good on the camera. And so by having these different lights that are not seen by the audience, but they're illuminating you, that's what makes you look good. So that's one set of lights. And as far as I'm concerned, these are the first lights that you want to invest in. You want to make sure that you look good first. However, after you have those lights on, then it starts getting into some practical lights, the lights that the audience actually sees. For example, directly to my right over here, you can see right down here, there's a practical light. There's a tube light, which basically it's one of these guys. This is the Amaran PT2C. And this light is RGB, just like the last light I showed you. You can connect it directly via magnets, or you can use clamps to be able to attach it. But this light is fully RGB, and you can use this as a practical light to just give yourself a little splash of color. And so that's exactly what I've done with this wood slat wall. I have a nice little splash of color hitting back here. I also have another light that I have rigged to the ceiling that has a gobo on it, and that's basically just what you're getting right in here, where you can actually see the little dots on the wall. And these things just sort of help elevate what your audience actually sees. And so, like I said, I strongly recommend that you start with lights that actually illuminate you, make you look good, and then you can start adding lights that are going to spice up your scene. So hopefully that was valuable. If you guys have any questions about lighting, I'm going to definitely hop into the chat and answer some of those. But yes, you can absolutely do that. A couple things George had mentioned, CalDigit actually has a fantastic adapter as well. So you can absolutely pick that up if you're trying to get some good lights for your deal. And that's okay. Oh, did I not say Q? My bad, Paul. Question, what Ethernet specs do you recommend for live streaming? So when it comes to your computer, I always recommend just getting whatever Ethernet your computer will support. The fastest one you can get, the better. In my case, I have fiber in my office, so I just run a 10 gig directly straight. I think it's a Cat 9. I think that's what it's called. I'm not 100% sure. That's the technical side of things that I don't really know. I normally watch a YouTube video. They tell me what to buy, and then that's what I do. I'm keeping it a buck with you guys. So that's what I've done. But yes, there's so much when it comes to lighting. And thank you, Paul, for throwing some of these links in the description. I will definitely find these. And then, yes, I will get you guys that Ivanki doc that I mentioned as well. By the way, like I said, if you guys want to get the full gear list, I know Paul's been trying to throw some of these links in the description, but if you guys want to get the full gear list, the best thing to do is to check out the link in the description and join the email list for this show, because I'm going to be sending out a full gear list along with some of the things that you guys have been asking me about, so that way I can make sure that I add that to the list as well, because I want to make sure that everything I talk about that you guys find value in, we add that to the list. All right, so we've got our cameras, we've got our lights. Now, let's talk a little bit about audio. This won't take a lot of time because, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty straightforward. There's two ways that you can get your audio into your computer to start streaming. The easiest way is to just go directly USB. So if you find a microphone that goes directly via USB, that's going to allow you to get it directly into your computer. Ecamm can acknowledge that microphone, and now you're ready to start streaming. I will say, though, when it comes to audio, this is probably more important than your video. What do I mean by that? People will watch a video that has okay image quality, but if the audio sounds terrible, they are out. It is like there's something about bad audio that just almost is like punching your brain. You're like, I can't deal with this. I got to get out. And so it is so important to invest in high quality audio. If you're going to invest your money somewhere, especially if someone's going to be listening to you for an extended period of time, like a live stream, audio is going to be one of those areas where you're going to want to do the investment. Because the truth is that most people will watch a live stream, but they're not staring at every single frame of it. They're kind of listening to it. It's sort of in the background. They might be listening to it while they're folding laundry or while they're cooking or while they're eating lunch or whatever it might be. So chances are they're doing a lot more listening than they are doing watching. So the audio needs to be on point. So when it comes to audio, I have a few different microphones that I have used over my time, and they get used at different points. So the first one is this guy right here. So this is the Rode Pod mic with a dock pop on it. That's why it's got this red, this beautifully red pop filter on here. But this is the Rode USB pod mic, and this one is very popular. When they first came out with these, they were XLR only, but now they have the pod mic USB, and this plugs directly USB-C into your computer, and that's all you need. You don't need a cloud lifter. You don't need a RODECaster. You don't need anything extra. You can literally just take this microphone, USB-C it right into your computer, and you're good to go. This is the easiest way, as far as I'm concerned, to get started with high quality audio. Now, you don't necessarily have to go with exactly this microphone, but I would strongly recommend that when you guys are shopping microphones, that you actually watch a few YouTube videos and listen to the quality of the microphone. And one thing to really look for is the audio being processed? Because a lot of people review microphones that are pretty bad, but if you know how to process them, you can make them still sound pretty good. If you don't know how to do that, then buying a bad microphone that needs processing, but you don't know how to process, could lead you down a rabbit hole that you don't want to deal with. So I strongly recommend you look for USB microphones that and when you're watching those reviews, look for unprocessed reviews. The next step is to get a microphone that has XLR, and that's what you see here. This is a different type of connection, and the benefit of XLR is normally the quality is slightly a little bit better, but then you need a audio interface. Now, we talked a little bit about this earlier. My favorite audio interfaces by far are the RODECasters. I have the RODECaster Pro 2, and I have a RODECaster Duo. The only major difference between those two items is price. You have a few less actual buttons when it comes to being able to, do sound effects and things like that, but you can have multiple pages on them. And the biggest difference is the number of XLR microphones that can go into it. So for example, the RODECaster Duo gets its name Duo because it can take in two XLR inputs. However, the RODECaster Pro 2 can bring in 4. Now, one thing that I do love, though, is that because Rode, again, when we start talking about these ecosystems, Rode has an ecosystem, they will actually allow you to take your USB-C microphone and plug that into your RODECaster Pro or RODECaster Duo, and that will allow you to get this microphone directly into your RODECaster. At that point, the RODECaster becomes the one audio source that goes into your computer, and then you get all the benefits of the RODECaster too. This this episode is not going to be breaking down the RODECaster 2. There are plenty of videos like that on YouTube. I strongly recommend you do some research on those. One of my favorite people to actually talk to is an Ecamm fam homie, Mr. Camera Junkie, aka Luis, aka my go-to IT guy. So if you guys have questions about the RODECaster, I would strongly recommend you guys reach out to Luis, especially because he's a part of the Ecamm fam. Love Luis. All right. So that's how I handle audio. The truth is that there are tons of ways to get your audio into the computer. There are tons of different audio interfaces. So you do want to figure out which one works best for you. But at the end of the day, cameras, lights, audio, that is the main gist to get a good looking image and a good sounding image for your live stream. But let's face it, we're not here for basic, right? We want to go up a tier. So now it is finally time to talk about my favorite accessories that absolutely change the way I do live streaming. So to set the tone, first, stream decks. All right. I don't know who I need to talk to become a Stream Deck ambassador, but I'm ready to be a Stream Deck ambassador because they literally make streaming that much easier. I told you, you're going to get sold today. You're going to get sold on a Stream Deck. It's just a matter of which one you want. So the way you need to think about a Stream Deck is think about a Stream Deck as a multi-button pusher. So for example, everything you do on your computer, typically requires a few button presses. To make it as simple and basic as possible, let's say you sit down at your computer and you say, I want to get on YouTube. So what do you have to do? You have to bring your mouse over to Safari or Chrome or whatever your browser of choice is. Then you have to take your mouse up to the URL, click in there, type in the website you want to go to, press enter, and then that website will appear, right? That is the process of getting to a website. I know, super basic, but just go with me for a second. This is the analogy. What a Stream Deck allows you to do is pre-program that action that says, when I press this button, I want this to happen. And what's crazy about the Stream Deck is there's almost no limitation to how many levels of things you want to happen. So for example, inside of Ecamm has its own camera switcher. It also has multiple scenes. So within Ecamm, you can have all these things pre-programmed, and then with the Stream Deck, you can say, when I press this button, I want to switch from one scene to another. For example, when I press this button, you'll see it takes me to a slightly different version of this scene. The screen is dropped in, name comes up. That all happens. When I start my show, I start on a different scene, and then when I'm ready to actually start and the intro bumper plays, that's a button press on the Stream Deck that allows me to get there. Now, here is where the Stream Decks really start to come in handy. When it comes to your stream, there's so much you want to have happen. Light changes, music, you want to bring up graphics. You might want to change scenes, change cameras. But when you're talking to your audience, it can be distracting when you're talking to your audience and you're looking down and you're doing this and you're back and forth. And that's assuming that you're sitting at a desk like this where you actually have quick access to your keyboard and your mouse. But if you want to have a seamless show, the Stream Deck becomes your buddy to be able to do all these things for you. And what's crazy is you can get really creative with some of the things you start pulling up on stream. For example, on our stream, I'm introducing this week, where whenever something really great happens, we're excited, we want to celebrate. Yeah, you can have memes and videos and stuff on command. So now when you're live, if something happens, this is literally just a video I have brought into Ecamm. And then whenever I press this button on the Stream Deck, I can have that pop up. And that is something that can really enhance the overall experience for your entirety of your episode. Another thing that absolutely gets me is that when I'm live, right? Let's say you start bringing up comments on stream. And let's say, okay, so in this situation, Paul puts bad audio is unwatchable. But you know what can be really tough? When you're like trying to get rid of that and you're like, oh man, how do I get rid of that? Well, you know what? I have a button. I have a button on my Stream Deck where I can press it and my last comment will just go away. And this is where the brain really should unlock with the Stream Deck, because now what you start realizing is, oh, I don't have to press all these buttons. I can just set buttons up on the Stream Deck to be able to do these actions for me. But oh, buddy, does it go even further than that? So probably, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. My favorite Stream Deck accessory. Actually, it's not, I don't know if it's my favorite. That's tough. It's like having kids. Like, they're all kind of my favorites. But the one I find myself gravitating to and needing the most is actually this guy right here. So this is the Stream Deck pedal. So just like I was explaining, having buttons that do things. This is a foot pedal. Think of it almost like a guitar pedal. But what's nice about it is there's 3 buttons on it. You have one on the right, one on the left, and then one in the center. And you can program these buttons to do certain things. So in our case of the show, as I mentioned already, we have 3 cameras. We have one on the far, one in the middle, and then one on the left side. And what's crazy about this is how I switch cameras live on my show. So I can switch to my camera, a wide camera, and then my guest's camera. And the reason why I can do that is because I don't have to look, I don't have to find it. I can literally just feel for where these buttons are with my foot and literally click to be able to switch camera angles. But you don't have to just do that. If, let's say you're doing a one-man live stream and you want to just do it all by yourself, you can put the pedal right underneath you, have it connected to your computer, and then literally, if I want to be able to switch between different cameras, like for example, if I want to press the button and it switches to this camera, and then I press another button and it switches me back to this camera, or if I want to be able to pull up my logo or my lower thirds, that's another button. You can do all of that directly with your feet and never disengage from your audience. And that way it allows you to continue to put on a show that your audience is here for. Now, when it comes to Stream Decks, there's a few different models that you can choose from. Now, the first one that you'll probably end up going with, but I don't think you should, is this guy here. This is the Stream Deck M Mark II, and this is the probably most affordable of them, minus the pedal is actually more affordable, but it's not as going to be as usable as this. The truth is that if you do want to start playing around with the Stream Deck, here's something that no one's going to probably tell you. Stream Deck actually has a free app you can download on your phone. Oops. And start experiencing that Stream Deck experience right now. So you can download it on your phone. It'll give you, I think, like 6 buttons, and it almost works identical. Like, I mean, there's like the slivers of a delay because it is Bluetooth, your phone to your computer. But you can start playing around and learning how those buttons work by just having 6. Then, if you want to buy this version and upgrade, you can absolutely do that. Obviously, this one's going to unlock more buttons for you. So on this one, you have 15. And so this is fantastic. But I can tell you, once you start playing around with the Stream Deck, 15 ain't gonna be enough. You're probably, like me, gonna end up going with an XL, which an XL just gives you way more button options. And the benefit here is that you can have all of your different scenes pre-triggered, ready to go, so that way you can just press a button and switch cameras. And I find that it is an absolute gem having a Stream Deck to be able to do all of this. So if you are a one-man band, one-woman band who's trying to do streams and you're trying to have certain effects trigger on their own, I strongly recommend you go with a Stream Deck. It will absolutely make your life so much easier, and it literally unlocks what you are capable of doing. Because I can't go into all of this right now, but maybe that's something we'll hold for another stream, is that you can actually set up multi-actions within the Stream Deck. So I had mentioned earlier that I love the fact that I have, all of my cameras going directly into Ecamm, and I use Amaran because that allows me to control all of my lights. So here's how I do it. I have a Stream Deck button that I can press. It knows that I want to switch to camera A, and then in 2 seconds, switch to camera B, and then in 2 seconds, go to camera C, and in 2 seconds, go back to camera B. And so it looks like the cameras are switching. Simultaneously, I have it to set at the very beginning, play a song. So when that song plays, now if you think about it, and as far as the viewer is concerned, you pressed one button. But when you press that button, music started playing, the camera started switching, and then because Amaran does have a desktop app, I can tell it, I also want you to go into the Amaran app and turn on my party mode lights. And then so the lights start changing, the cameras are switching, you can have graphics pop up, and then at the end of it, you can set it all to go back to normal. And just like that, one button allows you to trigger all these different things. And that's what the Stream Deck allows you to do. And so for me, that's why the Stream Deck is just so powerful, because the idea of switching cameras, turning on music, changing graphics, and having lighting effects happen, that would be impossible to pull off alone, especially without having a producer. But if you have a Stream Deck, you can pre-program all those moves, and then literally you press one button and it will do it all for you. It is an absolute game changer when it comes to your stream. It absolutely levels up the way people perceive your streams and the way that your streams are ultimately seen within the stream itself, because now people are like, oh yeah, this is absolutely amazing. I love it. I want to come back for this. It's going to be so much fun. All right, so I'm hopping to the chat real quick before I go through some of my final favorite accessories, because I know there's some accessories that you guys are going to be interested in, especially for those of you guys who are thinking about spending, I think it's like $300 on a mic arm. Don't do that. Jeremy, I'm talking to you. Don't do that. I got you. All right, so just making sure we ain't got no questions coming in. Jeremy says, your super chat lighting effects are awesome. Thank you so much for that. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, Jeremy just sort of mentioned it, but like that button press that we do, it really enhances certain moments in the stream. So for example, when we do the lighting and all of that stuff is happening, we do that when we get super chats, because now it turns that moment into something that somebody will remember, and they feel like their value is there. I mean, yes, it's always great to get super chats on a live stream. Don't get me wrong. Anytime you can monetize your passion, in our case, it's live streaming, it feels great. But when you can give back by enhancing your show, it is a massive difference. And so that goes a long way. And so I would absolutely recommend doing that. Mel says, I have 2 XLs and 2 pedals. Amazingly helpful. Yes, it is absolutely amazing. I love them. I have way too many to name. There's actually actually I have it right here. This is another amazing Stream Deck. This is the Stream Deck Plus, and I actually added the USB attachment on the back. So it has a USB hub attachment on the back, and that comes with like a SD card slot, micro SD card slot, and then 4 USB-C ports and 2 USB-A ports. And what I actually love about this Stream Deck Plus is that it also has knobs that you can use to control your audio. And these do work inside of Ecamm. So if you ever find yourself playing effects or movies or background music or your microphone, and you're constantly having to bring your mouse up and slide everything back and forth, if you like that tangible, just turning a knob to be able to control that audio, I find that these are incredibly helpful. And it comes with 8 buttons and a touchscreen screen down here that also can swipe you through and unlock more buttons for you. So there is so much in the world of Stream Decks. I probably should just do a whole video dedicated to Stream Decks at this point, but it is an absolute gem to have here. Speaking of my co-host, Mr. Jarrell Peak is in the building. This is my co-host, and Jarrell can tell y'all firsthand how much I have gone down the rabbit hole into figuring all this stuff out. And so I'm super excited to be sharing all this information with you guys today. All right, so now let's get into the piece of accessory for me that is changed the way that we do podcasts and the way that I'm going to tell people to do podcasts going forward. There is this mic arm. This is the OC White Company Ultima podcast arm. It is made famous because of Mr. Joe Rogan, who has used it. And I'll be honest with you guys, when it comes to low profile mic arms, I have bought plenty that were trash. I don't know if I should bash a brand on this stream because it's not my channel. So I won't say it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say it because I think it's valuable to you, and I've heard Doc say worse. So I will say that I bought the Fine. I also bought the Elgato low profile arm, and neither one of those really hit the mark for me. Are they workable? 100%. Will they get the job done? Yes. But is it the experience that you're really looking for? Probably not. And that is because with this super expensive arm right here, you can see how easy it swivels and how easily it goes up and down to find the perfect spot for the podcaster. I'm not gonna lie, this podcast arm is amazing, but it is dumb expensive. So if you are trying to get a solid podcast arm, but for an insane budget, the answer has been right in front of you this entire time. This is the Neewer MS002. I don't know what the 001 was, but the 002, it slaps. This thing has everything that I was just talking about. It's a low profile arm. It has full swivel ability. And get this, it comes in at less than $100. I'm telling you, it's worth the buy just to test it. And I guarantee you're going to shoot with it, you're going to fall in love with it, and you're going to go, I never will spend that kind of money on an arm again. In fact, I will say that if I knew about this arm before I bought this arm, which I unfortunately have bought 2 of them, there's no way I would have ever bought this arm if this one had been out. I have been looking for the lower cost version, and this is it. And here's the crazy part. This arm isn't just good for podcasting. Because it has a thread on it, you can actually put cameras on it. In fact, the camera that you guys are currently on is on one of these arms. So I'm actually using this arm right now. As you can see, I can easily swivel. I can do all of that with this arm. So I've actually got cameras mounted to these arms. I've got microphones mounted to these arms. These arms are literally amazing. And it feels like they're using the exact same tech that gets used in VESA arms, because you can feel the spring in here and the attention to detail. It is really, really solid. So if you are looking for a low profile mic, because I'll be honest, I don't like the arms that like boom down. I feel like it clutters up the frame. But if you just have an arm that kind of swings in like this looks so good on camera, and it's so functional. And I know if you see the brand Neewer, you get a little nervous. Trust me, you don't need to be nervous about this mic arm. You're absolutely gonna love it. So, man, talking about gear, this show flew by. I did not expect this show to fly by that fast. So do me a huge favor. If you have any quick questions, I'll hang around for just a few more minutes. If you have any quick questions about anything I talked about, please put the Q, put the colon. I know I'm going overtime, but I want to be able to leave some time to answer some questions. So do me a favor, throw those questions in the chat right now if you have any questions about any of the gear we talked about. As I said already, we have links in the description for the gear that I talked about today. We also are going to be sending out a full gear list right after the show. So make sure you click on the link in the description, you join the mailing list, so that way I can send you over the full gear list, because you guys asked about things that weren't necessarily in the description. That's the whole fun part about being live, right? You guys asked about the Ivanki dock, you asked about a few other things, and so I'm going to make sure I add those to the gear list, and then we'll get that emailed out to you. So make sure that you guys click the link in the description, join the email list so you can be notified about the future episodes that I do on this, but also you can be aware of the full gear list that's going to be sent out. So make sure you throw those questions in there. Doc is in here. Doc says, what did I say? Bro, you say a lot. So I feel like I can literally say anything live. So yes, Jeremy, go run, sprint to Amazon and use my link in the description. Use my link in the description and sprint over to Amazon and pick up this arm, because it is absolutely amazing. We have the link in the chat right now, so you should absolutely pick that up. Doc says Yellow Tech mica arms are a dream. They're $500 each, but they're beautiful. Yes, but I'm telling y'all, if y'all trying to save some money, this Neewer arm is, I'm just saying, it's pretty legit. So full gear list is going to be coming out. Make sure y'all check that out. This Matt says First time here, I'll visit those links. Thanks, man. No problem. Super excited that you came for the show. Guys, there's a lot of gear that goes into what we do when it comes to our show. But like I started the show with, and I basically want to end the show with the same idea. If you are watching this stream, you already have what you need to be able to stream. But the truth is that we understand that as creators, we are always trying to squeeze that, that extra drop out of the orange. And so I just wanted to take a moment and share with you guys a few of the pieces of gear that I personally use that make a huge difference in what I'm able to do. And if you want to invest in gear yourself, I just wanted to show you some of my gear, but ultimately give you guys the mindset that I'm in when it comes to picking out gear, because picking out the right gear is so important. I have this quote that I always say when it comes to gear, and that's buy nice or buy twice. And so what that means doesn't mean buy expensive. Buy nice doesn't mean expensive. In fact, this arm is very nice, but it is not expensive. Buy nice means make sure that you buy the right gear the first time, or else you will find yourself buying it a second time where you pay the what I call ignorance tax, which is just where you don't know. Ignorance isn't a bad thing. You just don't know. So educate yourself. I know you guys are educatable because you show up to streams like this. You're watching videos on YouTube. You're trying to get the most out of it. But at the end of the day, hold on one second. Give me 2 seconds. At the end of the day, as gear nerds, we gonna make bad decisions, y'all. We are gonna make bad decisions because we love buying that gear. We know what it is. Shout out to the Ecamm fam for rocking with me today. Thank y'all so much for checking out this stream, and I will catch you guys next week. Peace.